when I started Ari's Take as a blog back in 2012, the quote unquote Bible of the music industry before my book came along was written by a lawyer, and it was 30 years old. There's no empathy in that book. We are in an era of information overload right now. It can be the greatest time in the history of the music industry for some, and it can be the worst time for others.
Do you think social media has made it easier to make it?
There is more noise now than ever. There's 170,000 songs uploaded every single day. There is only one way to fail in music, and that is to give up.
On this episode of the One More Time podcast, we sit down with the guy who literally wrote the book on navigating the music business. Ari Herstand started helping educate artists over a decade ago because there just literally was no information about this shit. And the information that was out there was not written by artists, so what the hell do they know? Fast forward to today, we are in an era of information overload where everyone and their mother is a guru and everyone's just preying on artists that are desperate to get small victories, which is why you should only subscribe to channels with people who actually care about you, like the One More Time podcast. We got very real in this episode, asking some of the tough questions like, why does it seem like most artists are just out here failing? We talked about if you actually have to get super good at the internet to succeed in 2026, and why it makes way more sense to build a modern team around you and your music instead of waiting for some mythical manager to ride in on a white horse and save your career. Like, I don't know, it's not happening. So if you are actually serious about making it in the new music business, you should absolutely buy Ari's book. But before you do, tune into this episode, grab a notepad, do not cut it off until the very end, at which point you can start it one more time. And now for the full conversation with Ari Herstand.
This is a full circle moment, my friend.
It is.
We have Ari Herstand on the podcast, Henry.
Let's go.
We didn't think it was possible. We manifested this shit, and here we are.
Let's go.
Ari Herstand, welcome to the podcast, man.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
How are you?
Cool to be here. I'm good. I'm great. Busy as always, but keeping it exciting. And yeah, everything's doing good.
For sure. So, obviously Henry was alluding to before we got started that like both of us have consumed How to Make It in the New Music Business as we were trying to figure this shit out. Hopefully all of our audience has consumed one of the editions. We're on the third edition as of 2023. I just want to get this out of the way. Like, how do you define making it, right? Because I feel like in the title, it suggests that, should you read this book, you will figure out how to quote unquote make it. And I think everyone's definition of what that means is a little different. So I wanted to get, straight from the horse's mouth. Exactly. What is your definition?
Sure. No, and that's a great question. That is the question that I ask every guest that comes on my podcast. That's the last question I ask because it is so personal. And now with 200 some guests that I've had 200 some different answers, which is so exciting. But how I define it, my definition of making it in the new music business is making a living, supporting the kind of lifestyle that I want to live, doing what I love. That's it. I think that's pretty simple and straightforward for me.
So beautiful.
You don't have to work a 9 to 5. You get to make music and live.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, to make a living on your creative talents, I would say that is making it for any creative, no matter what field you're in. That's kind of the goal, There's a million different ways to make that happen. Of course, we know there's not one pathway to a successful career in the new music business. There are as many pathways to success as there are musicians in the new music business. It's just, it's incredibly personalized to every person. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. Everyone has different goals and intentions. And that's the thing. It's just like, no one can define success for you. Success is extremely personal. And if anyone tries to define success for you without knowing who you are, without knowing your goals and intentions, without knowing what you're about or what you believe in, what you want, or even what you're good at or what you're not good at, tell them to get out of there. They don't know what they're talking about because, no one can know. Yeah, run. It's just like, that's the thing. It's like so many people think that they know what you need and what you want. And that's because they are, for some reason, very sure of themselves, and maybe they heard one person say something or another at one point, or, but that's the thing, is just like, we had a really interesting time in the music industry. It can be the greatest time in the history of the music industry for some, and it can be the worst time in the history of the music industry for others. And it's just kind of what you make of it right now. It's like, yes, there's this open industry where it is theoretically democratized because of the internet, which then leaves an opening for people who are good at the internet. But then for those brilliant artists who are not so good at the internet, it is a much more challenging time to exist in the industry.
Yeah. So do you think that the problem with a lot of the music because you're like the pioneer of the music education space, I feel like, or you're one of the pioneers, right?
I'll go with that.
Okay, there we go.
Thank
so,
you. Okay.
So I think with that, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So I think,
Uncle Ben.
do you think that there is a lot of, music educators on the internet that are kind of coming at it from a place of, you must do this, right? Kind of suggesting they should take this certain path without knowing what the fuck someone's goals are. You talk about that being so personal. I feel like that's like a thing that we even, sometimes when we get all preachy and we're like, whoa.
Actually, you don't have to do anything we say.
None of this matters if you don't want to tour, if you don't want to sell merch, if you don't want to build fan bases, right? Like if you want to take another path, that's all of the things that we just said are completely fucking irrelevant. So is that like a problem you see?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of educators now in the music space on the internet. When I started Ari's Take as a blog back in 2012, I was the only working musician writing about how I was making it work and how it was, the industry was functioning. And that was based initially on personal experiences because there was no information out there. The only other blogs out there that were giving advice to working musicians were written by companies looking to gain customers. There was nobody sharing this information, And so like I started Ari's Take because I was making a living as an independent DIY artist on my own, touring successfully, getting songs placed on TV shows, charting, doing all of this, no manager, no record label, no booking agent. Like I was booking all the own shows. And I was getting asked how to do it. And I would get back to everybody and word spread. If you have questions about the music business, go ask Ari. And soon enough, I couldn't get back to everybody. And so
gotta write a book.
I then but even before the book, I started the blog because I was just like, all right, I'm going to just put up everything, all the things I'm getting asked about. I'm going to put up there. So when people ask me these questions, I'm going to go point to it and be like, all right, actually I wrote about it. It's over here. The blog took off in a way that I never really expected. I literally just put it up there. There wasn't a business model behind it. There wasn't I wasn't making any money on it. That wasn't the intention. It was literally to share the information. I believe that I don't believe in competition in the music industry. I believe that a rising tide lifts all ships. I believe we're in this crazy music industry together. And I didn't like that no one was sharing this information. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to share what I know. I'm going to interview and talk to as many people that will talk to me who are doing things successfully at whatever level. I'm going to share that information. And then that naturally evolved into, more writing gigs, a book, all that stuff. Fast forward to today, and there are a ton of people talking about how, things are working and how they're doing it. And I think the difference now is that there are a lot of people that are coming at it, I guess from maybe a place of business first, or they're coming at this from an intention of, let me build a business around this practice. And they're like reverse engineering that. They're like, I want to make money teaching and telling musicians how to make a living. So let me figure out how to do that. And then they start to draw a line that way. No judgments. It's just like, I came at it very differently. Like I came at it as a full-time working musician looking to just share the information and support the community. It wasn't a business model. Now, of course, it is a business model for me. Yes, now I have a music business education company. I have a podcast. I have an online school. I have a book. And it, I shifted my focus intentionally because I realized that, well, I saw the impact that the blog initially was having. I like my blog and then the subsequent, podcast and book and everything has had a much deeper impact, wider and deeper impact than I ever saw with my music. Now, I was running a successful music career, and I had fans, and I was charting, and I making a living doing music, but the impact that I saw by sharing this information was on a completely different level. And so I was like, you know what? This is needed and necessary. I'm at this weird intersection where I'm an artist, but I also like writing, and I feel like my communication style, I know how to talk to musicians. I am a musician, so I a lot of the early advice columns were written by lawyers, or the books, the book, the quote unquote Bible of the music industry before my book came along was written by a lawyer, and
Passman.
It was 30 years old.
Yeah.
Passman's, of course. Yeah. And no shade to Passman. I have 3 editions of that book, but it's written by a lawyer. There's zero musician's empathy in that book. There was here's how to negotiate a contract. I'm like, cool, that's important. But and sorry, Mr. Passman, you don't know what it feels like to write a fucking song and then try to put that song out, and then no one cares about that song that you just spent, so much of time, money, effort, passion, blood, sweat, tears in that, and you put that out. There's no empathy in that book. It's very helpful and useful if you want to learn how, the controlled composition clause used to work or whatever. Sure, that's important. But that, there's no empathy. So, all that to say,
Controlled
it's just
composition.
they're more education is great. I appreciate that there are a lot of people out there that are helping educate the community. But like you said, Ben, it can be confusing when people might hear conflicting statements of what you are quote unquote supposed to do or not supposed to do. There's a lot of people on the internet, talking heads in this music education space, music business education space, who are very aggressive in their communication style and say, you got to do this and you're an idiot if you don't know how to do that, and what, and it's it's effective in what they're looking to achieve, which is getting people afraid of them and to follow them and give them money, I guess. But I think it can be detrimental because it's they don't fucking know either.
But nobody knows. Nobody knows, though.
That is the dirty secret of the music industry. Nobody knows.
So the whole conflicting information, it's because nobody actually fucking knows what they're doing. I mean, we've talked to people who won Grammys, platinum this, platinum that, and they admit, on camera and of course definitely off camera, nobody knows what the fuck is going on here because it's constantly changing, and it's so subjective too.
Yeah.
If people knew what worked and how to make it work, we go back to this all the time. The major labels would never lose. They have the money. Or anyone with a financial backing would not lose if we could pinpoint exactly what it took and we could write this perfect business plan that was never going to fail.
And they lose all the time.
Everyone loses. It's the ups and downs, and
that's true, and exactly, and that's the thing, and yes, and you can talk to anyone at any level of the industry, and sure, people have track records, and some people, I think those that are succeeding are just the ones that have tenacity and grit and are willing to try and fail 100 times before they find a little win and then start to succeed in a way. There are things that you can glean from all this information. We are in an era of information overload right now. All of the information exists. You can find the information. That's not an issue. The information is out there. Now, the information was not out there when I started Ari's Take as a blog in 2012.
Yeah.
It just did not exist. So we're at the other end of the spectrum now where the information is everywhere. It's just, what information should you take that is going to work for your career? And it always goes back to, what are your goals? And it's you have to set very clear-cut specific goals. I call these, it's not me, it's not my term, but we know them, is like, they're called SMART goals, of course, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, SMART goals. And, you have to set these goals, give yourself a time frame and make it specific, and then you can reverse engineer that. And then, so if you set one goal and let's like use an example of like, all right, my goal is I want to get 1 million streams on Spotify on this one song within 4 months. Okay, now, then if that's my goal, I can reverse engineer that, and then I can take the information of like, well, this person teaches how to run ads. All right, so let me learn how to run ads. There's some playlisting thing over here that may or may not work, but let's try that. And then there's this, and then there's TikTok, and da 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 da. If your goal is, I want to sell out this 500 cap venue in my hometown in 6 months, all of that other stuff is completely irrelevant. You can't listen to all of those people that are teaching you how to get streams on Spotify if your goal is to sell out a hometown venue. So then you have to go to that route and like reverse engineer that goal. And that's a completely different method of how you're going to fill a venue in your hometown. So you just have to know what your goals are, and then you find information that helps you achieve each one of those specific goals.
I would say one of the most common threads in every single interview that we do, it literally all boils back down to self-awareness, because these people that are getting overloaded with all the information, it's like, if you knew exactly what you were trying to do and you knew what your goals were, you're not getting overloaded. It's easy to kind of ignore the stuff that doesn't apply to you. But if you're laser focused on something and you can only consume the information that's going to help you achieve your goals, I mean, guys, we just got to figure out what we're doing here, and it becomes a lot clearer.
Yeah, but I think something that you've talked about that is the hard part about this for artists. Again, I'm not an artist, but what I've seen from our community is that like they want to just make it. Speaking of make it, they want to make it in the music business no matter what, borderline. If you told them like, hey, you should, like, I think sync is where you could really
like, okay,
shine.
how do I sign up?
Sign me up for sync. I'll go like, so that's what I think the issue is that they want it so bad, because like we're all in this because we want it so bad.
And artists are emotional people, so.
Yeah, that's what I think is the hard part.
And that's the danger. And like, speaking to now, like, colleagues in the music business education space, you gotta be like very careful about how you're communicating and the message you're communicating to artists, because artists are emotional. It can be, artists can get manipulated easier than I would say people that aren't in the creative arts, aren't pouring their heart and soul into something and putting it out there to be judged, And so like what I struggle with is seeing those out there who have learned how to manipulate artists into paying them money for whatever it is. And they keep doing that knowing that they're not actually serving them. They're not delivering on the value. They're not actually giving them the value that they are paying them for. And that is where it's tough, and that's where it's challenging. And if someone, people need to get paid for their work, of course. And I over the course of my career as like a journalist, writer, all of that stuff, like, I have called out a lot of these bad actors in the industry over the years. These companies that manipulate artists into giving them a lot of money, and then they ghost them, they disappear, or then they chastise them or talk down to them. And, there's a lot of predators in the industry. There's a lot of people who successfully know how to prey on artists. Not least of which, those scams that go around Instagram and resurface every once in a while that try to get songwriters to write a custom song for their kid's birthday party. I don't know if you guys have heard about this shit, but it's like, oh man, this is a wild one. And any songwriter listening, all right, let me break this down.
Break it down, because this sounds crazy.
This has been going on for years, and any songwriter listening to this, most likely they've been hit up on Instagram. So what happens is someone slides into their DMs on Instagram or TikTok. Now they're doing it there, and they're like, "Hey, I love your songs. I love your music. Would you be open to writing a custom song for my son's birthday party. And they go back and forth. They're like, oh, that sounds great. You know, they negotiate, they talk rate and whatever. And so then maybe they'll say, yeah, I'll do it for $500. They said, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Or maybe what about $450? They're like, okay, fine, I can do it for $450. Here's the turnaround time. They send them a list of all the things that their son really loves. And they're like, okay, you know, the birthday party is December 15th. And so maybe we can get it. They're like going back and forth like it's a real opportunity, a real gig. And then they're, you know, so like, all right, I'll send you the money. And then they send them, you know, if it's $450, they send them a wire, of course, for $4,500. And they're like, hey, I actually my assistant sent you money. They added an extra zero by accident. Can you send me back the difference? You know, we sent you $4,500. It meant to be $450. So send us back the difference. Look in your bank account, and you'll look in your bank account and you'll see a pending amount of charge of $4,500. And so you send them back, you know, $3,000, whatever. And then as soon as you send it back, you realize that pending incoming payment doesn't go through, because then they cancel it before it actually hits the account. And now the musician is out, you know, thousands of dollars, and they've been scammed. And this, unfortunately, is a common thing, a common scam that is happening. It's been happening for years.
Shit.
Yeah. Didn't know about that one.
What a music industry specific version of, like, because that's like a classic one, I feel like, right? Like the send me money back. Oopsie daisy.
Like but
you've got
a Prince. That's been going on since.
Yeah, that's like shit my mom gets hit with all the time. You
have a songwriter in this scenario who's like being like, oh my God, someone finally recognized the greatness of my writing. I know I'm a great writer. I'll do whatever they want. Like
for their kid's birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this kid's fucking day, dude.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I know it's rough out there for indie artists, because it's like, right, you want it, you know, you want the gig. You want to be recognized for your work. Someone is recognizing you. They start, and that's the thing. It's just like, you know, I get hit up daily in DMs and emails and whatever, and like these, I don't know if I want to call them scammers, but like predators or whatever.
Grifters.
They will always, they'll always start off with a compliment, but it's copy and paste. It's just like, you know, hi, all caps, Ari Herstand, or like, you know, whether the band Grassroots District, like, hi, you know, and it's just like, I really love your song, fill in the blank, and then it's really great, and I like generic compliment, and then here's the pitch. Pay me for, you know, and I'll help you, but you could have growth on Instagram, and you can have, you know, you should grow here and grow there, and you're not doing a good job of this, and you're not doing a good job of that. And most artists be like, damn, you're right. I'm not. I don't have millions of followers. Like, shit, maybe I should pay this person thousands of dollars a month or whatever. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
stuff out there.
I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation. I want to take a quick moment to tell you about our pals at DistroKid. You can't get your music onto streaming platforms without a distributor, and DistroKid is an excellent choice to handle that for you. For the ridiculously low price of $23, you can upload unlimited music for an entire year. That is less than $2 a month. I tripped on $2 walking down the street earlier. They have countless features to help you out on your musical journey. One of my favorites is splits. Instead of my collaborators hitting me up all the time saying,
"Where's my money?"
I can input everyone's percentage when I upload the music, and DistroKid will handle it. I've personally used DistroKid for many years and can genuinely recommend them as a great tool to get your music out into the world. And if you sign up at omtdistro.com, you'll get 30% off an already insanely low price. This is absolute peanuts for unlimited uploads yearly. We wish you the best with your creating. Let's get back to it.
I don't want to be negative, but I just, you know, looking at this realistically, there's a hefty majority of artists that don't make it in the music business.
Most of them.
Mm-hmm. Is that safe to say? I mean, just statistically speaking.
It goes back to the definition of what making it is.
Your definition.
Sure, your definition. I'm using your definition.
Okay, so making a living using their creative talents.
Correct. Statistically speaking, most that try do not get to that point. Are we on the same page here, or?
I'll run with your premise.
Okay.
Sure. I mean,
you don't agree?
I would have thought it was like 99%.
I thought it was like, fuck dude. Yeah, Ben, obviously, you idiot. Stupid question. Move on.
No, I I don't agree because there is no, what's the time limit that you're putting on this? You know, like something else that I cover a lot.
Honestly.
Until they give up.
Well,
yeah.
You mean when you die or give up? Sure.
I mean,
but for real though, like there are, and I cover this a lot, there's so many artists that actually, you know, quote unquote, make it later in life. Like actually one of my former Artistic Academy students, Danielle Ponder, she like blew up at 40. She had her first single that like, and like really caught at age 40. She was, she was a public defender for many years. She had a day job and doing that. And here's the other thing. I actually just had the band Couch on the podcast, and love this band. They're based out of Boston. They're like a soul pop funk band. There's 7 of them in there.
Whoa.
If you look at any of their numbers online, or you go to their shows. I mean, they're playing in Boston. They're playing a 35. They're on tour right now. They're playing, thousands of people a night. They're playing the Fond out here in LA, 1,200 tickets. They're playing a venue in Boston, 3,500 tickets. They're playing Brooklyn Steel in New York, 2,500 tickets. Like, that's fucking great, right? That's like at a level where you look at that, like they've made it. Like anyone who looks at that is like, they have made it, And they're like, oh, no, we all have other jobs that we have to support our career.
It's because there's 7 of them, bro.
They got to split that pie.
That's true.
They'd have to be doing arenas to make it,
That's the other thing. It's just like, but then would you say that they have failed or that they haven't made it because they're selling thousands and thousands of tickets on this tour? They will have sold tens of thousands of tickets when this tour is done. They're making tens of thousands, maybe even $100,000 plus on streaming royalties a year, more than that. And, by all these metrics, they got millions and millions of streams and all of this, like, anyone that didn't know their personal financial situation be like, they have made it, And then other people, I know a lot of artists, and the reason my hesitation here, which it seems like an obvious answer, an obvious question, but it's not. I know so many artists that are making a living with their creative talents that have less than 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. You look at them, they're like, oh, they're a failure. And it's like, well, no, they are teaching lessons. They are gigging the local circuit, doing really, really well. They are doing well in sync. They're doing, X, Y, and Z, and they're making a living. So it's like, again, it's hard to define that. And I can say this from data, and the reason that you ask, like when you ask, we send surveys out to our audience. Now we have tens of thousands of people in our community, in our audience, and we send surveys out to them asking exactly this question. How much of your income is from music? And are you making a living from music? And about half of our audience says that they are making their sole living from music and from their creative talents. And so, and then I break it down further and I get more specific, like, what does that mean? Like, how are you doing this? Let me talk to you about that. And again, people are piecing it together, And so you're totally right. There are Grammy winners with day jobs. Okay. But would you call them a failure because they won a Grammy and they have to work a day job? I wouldn't. I would say that, because maybe the lifestyle that they want to live, they need $10,000 a month to survive. Could they survive? Could they live on $3,000 a month with 100% of their income coming from music? Sure. So just because their lifestyle is at a different level, now we've drawn a hard line saying you're a failure because you want to live at a $10,000 a month income stream, whereas you could be living at a $3,000 a month income stream if you really wanted. Now you've made it. It's so arbitrary.
Well, damn, now he's making me sound like I'm calling them failures. He's like, and then you call them failures, Ben. No, I'm kidding. But so my question was going to more be around like, what, like if you were to attribute kind of like one reason why a majority of artists do fail, is there something that you kind of like point to? Because
Yeah.
you seem to have a lot of data on this shit, right? So it's like, why are artists failing?
My definition of failure is giving up.
Sure. Why are they giving up?
Yes. So that is a very clear cut way to say, okay, there is only one way to fail in music, and that is to give up.
Sure.
So now the data that I have are from my community of working professionals. Granted, there's tens of thousands of them in this community, but the ones that are answering my survey have not given up, and so they're like, I don't have that. I haven't like sought out like how many people started with music and then gave up and whatever. Now,
if you were to guess,
why do people? Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is like I was in a band in high school. We continued a couple years after high school into college and stuff like that. And my collaborators in this band were not as serious as I was about music. They didn't want to tour and sleep on beer stained couches, and they didn't want to get into a van and drive around, and they didn't want to like do the grind. And they, had different intentions in life and wanted to, whatever. So the band broke up and they all quit music. Now, would we define them as like failures? I wouldn't say they even started a music career. I would say that they started as a hobbyist doing music. I think a lot of people start as hobbyists, and a lot of people like playing in bands, and a lot of people like music. But let's just start with the premise. Just, I know I'm not making this easy for you. I will answer your question.
It's okay. You're challenging me.
I will answer the question, but let's just agree on the premise, which is of those that have decided they want to be a professional musician.
Yes.
And they have made this intention, those that then give up.
Sure. Why are they unsuccessful?
Yes. Why are they giving up?
Yeah.
That is a fair question. And a lot of people do give up. I don't have that data on how many people have started, tried to pursue a professional music career and then gave up. But I know a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people who have, and what made them give up. I mean, there's so many reasons, but a few of them I would say is burnout is a big one. Burnout because you put so much effort, time, and money into the craft, into the art, and you don't get that in return. You don't receive that same level of value that you put out back in a form that resonates, that can sustain you. That's honestly probably the biggest reason that people give up is burnout.
Yeah,
and then
it's tough.
It's gotta be, right?
Is like, that's probably the biggest one. And then I would say maybe the second one is life happens, and they have different their goals. They just change. I would say the other big one is just people change their intention of what they want from life. Maybe they want to start a family. Maybe that's not conducive to a touring musician lifestyle or whatnot. Maybe they want to live in a certain city or burb or wherever, and it costs a certain amount, and their family life demands a certain revenue stream that music is not providing at that moment. And they have family pressures to pursue a different lifestyle, a different career path.
Yeah.
Those are, yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, man, because nowhere in even like dancing around the answer did you suggest that like it's because the music isn't good enough. It's because you didn't post enough content. Like it really is that like, you got burnt out because this shit does take fuck tons of time and effort and
resilience
and embarrassment, posting videos, uploading songs into the abyss and no one's listening, right? It takes a lot of effort and thick skin. And then the second reason is, to your point, life happens, and some of that yes, like everything's technically like under our control and how we can kind of navigate life. But at the end of the day, life does happen. And, you know, if you did just have a family and you want to be there for your kids and you were seeing some success touring, well, there goes that, right? If you wanted to be a present father in that moment, right? So it's just interesting that he didn't point to like, well, most people just aren't good enough, or like, you know, the music doesn't resonate. Like, I don't know. I mean, I thought maybe that could be, I don't know. I just was wondering if that would be something you'd say.
Well, I mean, music is subjective. You know, the reason that I rarely put it and make it about the music is I think that's just kind of an that's just an accepted understanding that, sure, the music needs to be at a competitive level, but like, who am I to say that your music is good or not? You know, like, there is some music out there that I do not get. I can't stand it. I can't stand listening to it, but other people love it, you know? And that's the beautiful thing about art, is some people are going to get it and some people aren't going to get it. It doesn't, you know, it's like, there are, and I think we're in this era of the industry where it is on display more than ever. How many songs, videos, influencers have gone viral on TikTok for a shitty song, a song that didn't have anything outside the 15 seconds that went viral. Now, do they have careers after that? Most of them do not. You know, it's you need some depth and you need something to sustain it. How many of them went viral because of gimmicks? How many of them, again, getting back to the, like, what is success, what is failure? Like, how many of them got offered record deals because they went viral on TikTok in 2020, 2021, 2022? They got $1 million advance or whatever. And 3 years later, they're dropped. They have no fans. They're canceling tours. They can't sell any tickets, and they don't have a career. They made $1 million because they went viral one time. You know, that's cool, I guess. Good for them. They like worked the algorithm. They worked the internet. They were good at the internet for a second. But like, you know, it's really, we can't really gauge someone's success or failure unless they give up for good, or two, there's a lot of time that you're looking at someone's career. Because like, there are a lot of artists that got major record deals because they went viral. And in the moment, everyone around them, their friends, their family, their colleagues, their everybody would say, wow, you are an incredible success story. You went viral, you worked the internet, you got a major record deal, you got $1 million in the bank right now. Wow, you are successful. Fast forward 5 years, I would say, to your point, Ben, the majority of those people fail. Majority of those people give up.
Wow.
Because it's really hard to go from holy shit, I got $1 million advance from a major record deal, I'm the hottest shit in the world right now, to nobody cares about me. I can't even get 100 people to my local hometown show, let alone tour. And I'm not, and no one cares about me, and the label owns all my music. I can't actually write a song, and no one cares about my music and my records anymore. That's really hard to sustain. Man, a lot of them do give up.
I feel for those people, bro. That just made me sad. Like, empathy. You just like describing that, you know, up and then down.
I'm curious if you think that like 15 seconds of a song going mega viral for a relatively unknown artist trying to make it could be a good thing, you know, or do you like, would you recommend, you know, more of a slow grind and build true fans like slower?
If your goal is to have a lifelong music career, if your goal is to sustain as an artist, to be a career artist, if that is your goal, then you have to think long-term from the beginning. And when you really break that down and reverse engineer all of that, you don't want to go viral for the wrong reasons. Like, there's a lot of people that went viral because they look good, or they're a good dancer, or, you know, they did some gimmicky trend and it got millions of views and whatever. Like that's not a reason to go viral. And especially the people that then find you from that and start following you, if you don't keep doing that content, that style of content, then it's going to work against you. And if you go viral for the wrong reasons, not only will all of those followers be confused at all of your future content, if the content that then you make is not just like what went viral, the algorithm's going to crush it. It's not going to have any reach. We see this all the time where artists, musicians, they go viral for some bullshit reason, whatever. They followed a trend or whatever. And then whenever they post about their music or do anything musical, nobody cares about it. And has no reach, no views, whatever. So what I will say is, yes, lay a strong foundation, develop as an artist, understand who you are as an artist. You have to, if you're going to be a public facing artist, have everything filtered through that artist lens. You have to have a point of view. And, some people in a cold, hard marketing sense would call that branding, but others will just say that fans want to follow artists that stand for something, that have a point of view. Fans aren't going to become a fan of an artist because they like 15 seconds of a song. They might not even know what that song is or what the artist is. And even in the playlist era, even if they hear a song on a playlist or anything like that, that's why you can't ever gauge somebody's success or level of fandom based on the number of streams they have or the number of monthly listeners they have. Who knows if that song got placed on a playlist and they got, that playlist blew up or the algorithm took it and they got millions of plays on this one playlist. They have millions of monthly listeners, but they have no fans and they can't sell any tickets. That's either one, because people are just passively listening to their music and they have no fans. So they get pulled off that playlist. The algorithm flips. They have no career. But also on social media, if it's something went viral on TikTok or Reels and that person, that potential new fan goes to your profile and starts to dig a little bit, and they're going to choose to follow you or they're going to choose to become a fan if they believe in who you are as an artist and what you stand for and what you're saying, not just with your music, but just all around. And so, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into understanding yourself as an artist and having a point of view. And then once you understand that, you can put out content. And sure, there are tactics you can do to try to reach a new audience and a cold audience and bring them in. And yes, grabbing onto the algorithmic wave in some capacity can be tremendously helpful. I'm not going to say it's not. It absolutely can. It can be life-changing for people, but you want to go viral for the right reasons in a way that is sustainable.
So do you think overall, though, that social media has made it easier to make it in the music business, or is it detrimental?
My hesitation is I talk to artists who are having a very successful career right now in the industry, who made it on the internet. They grew because of the internet, and they know how to work the internet, and they will say it is the best time in the history of the music industry to be an artist, especially an independent artist. I can go direct to my fans. There are no gatekeepers. I don't need to be anointed by anyone at a record label giving me permission to have a career. I can do it on my own. I can get my music onto DSPs. I can get my music out there. I can reach people with my message and my music because of the internet. On the flip side, there is more noise now than ever. I think the new figure is there's 170,000 songs uploaded every single day to DSPs. It used to be 100,000.
Oh my God.
I've heard so many numbers.
We should do a montage of of where when we first started, it was 20,000 songs are uploaded daily.
75,
50,
100,
170 now.
It's true.
Well, it's because of the influx of AI. It's now the majority of, Deezer just came out with a report saying, I think they said 70,000 songs are uploaded. Generative AI songs are uploaded daily to Deezer, which means to all the DSPs by their metrics and by their gauging. So there's so much noise. You have to break through all that noise. And now you're not just competing with other human musicians, you're literally competing with generative AI music that can be created at a volume that we've never seen before, that is now flooding the DSPs and literally taking away market share in eardrums, in listenership, but also revenue from human artists.
Yep.
So you have to break through all of that noise, and it can be tremendously challenging for artists who are not good at the internet. So there are artists that we look back on, some of the most brilliant artists of all time. Do you think Prince or Michael Jackson would make it in this era today? I don't.
I don't know.
Maybe with a videographer and editing crew following them around.
Dance videos, though? Like, come on, man.
I mean, yeah, they can dance. I mean, but the thing is, would Kurt Cobain make it in today's era?
Yeah,
you think Kurt Cobain is doing some TikTok dances? You think he's following a fucking trend? Like, no way. I don't think Nirvana would have made it in today's, modern industry. So it's like, I think a lot of these brilliant artists, like in anyone, you think about your favorite artists of all time, and you go back to that, would Jay-Z have made it in today's modern industry? I don't think so. There are brilliant artists out there in the history of the industry that made it a certain way. And at the time it worked in that way. And at the time, what it was there were a couple cheerleaders that thought they were worthy of a career and invested in them with development, with the resources, with money, with the label, with whatever. And they were able to make it in that time period that I don't think would have worked today. On the flip side, those artists that I talked about before that are making it and succeeding today because they're really good at the internet, I don't think they would have made it pre-internet era, because the kind of music, the style that they make, some of them maybe, but to be honest, there are some really interesting, innovative bands out there. I use this example, Wolfpack is, I'm a big fan of those guys. I know them, they're friends. They're fantastic, great musicians, really, really great at what they do. I love them. But they're also really, really good at the internet. Do I think if they came out in the 90s or the 80s doing what they would do, that a record label would look at them and be like, yeah, this is it? They break every rule in the book. It's like there is no real lead singer. There's no, they're just dopey, average looking dudes. And it's just it's not what it was in that era where, where there was a playbook that the record labels followed, as in this is what it takes for a band that we want to sign to make it. So I think it goes both ways.
But do you think that on the whole that artists need to be good at the internet to win today?
I mean,
because I lean towards yes. I lean towards yes, man. I know there's these one-offs where it's oh, you could just be a sync, producer, but it's I feel like even the people that are crushing on sync also might be good at the internet to post videos that, look, I made a trailer that should be for the Spider-Man movie, whatever. I feel like they even use the internet effectively. I don't know. I lean towards
not all of them. I know a lot of my colleagues and friends who are making 6 or 7 figures in sync licensing. A lot of them don't even have a presence on Instagram.
But are they legacy? Are they legacy sync folks?
No, they're new. They're they're 30 somethings, that are just doing it behind the scenes. They're writing to briefs. They have a few different sync projects, and they're making a very solid living doing that without any kind of presence. And they're frankly very bad at the internet.
Well, there's hope for these people out here. Yeah. All right, I'm glad you said it, because I just love the power of the internet, and I do love the idea that you can reach people with your music
Yes.
at your fingertips, right? Most of us are, thankfully fortunate enough to have smartphones or have the access to the internet, right? It's only becoming more ubiquitous, right? So for me, I just love it. Like, I just am like, oh my God, there's nothing stopping you guys. Like, let's go. Like, I look at it as like empowering. So then I think of like, if it's this empowering tool, I'm like, why would you not want to be good at it? Like, we obsess over trying to be good at it because, again, we could be having the best fucking conversations in the world. But if we were bad at the internet, we spend so much fucking time coming up with YouTube titles and thumbnails. It's unreal. Like, the amount of tinkering with fucking words and spacing. I mean, God, we spent 3 hours today coming up with like title options. Like, it's unreal. But it's because how else are we going to get these conversations that we think are important? And if you're a musician, how are you going to get the songs that you think are important and deserve to be heard and that could help people? Like, I just look at the internet as such like powerful, empowering tool, man. So that's why I just think like you should be good at it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is a powerful tool. And again, like it can be really, really good for a certain type of artist. And I do like, there are, I started my music career at a really interesting time in the history of the music industry. I would say it was right at the cusp of the old music industry was dying, the new music industry was beginning. Like, I got started in an era where you didn't have to be good at the internet and people were still getting signed based on their merits. And then some of my favorite bands, one of my favorite bands of all time, no one outside of Minneapolis really has ever heard because they never were able to release an album because they signed a major record deal. They made this brilliant album and then the label shelved it. And then they broke up because they shelved it and they couldn't release it. And I literally, this is one of my top 10 albums of all time that no one's ever heard.
Wow.
And I love this album.
Wow.
No joke. And so it's like,
wow.
That to me was crushing that existed in that era, that there was like a couple assholes at this record label that it's like, you know what, we don't hear a hit or whatever, we're going to shelve it and we're not going to put it out and we're not going to put any more money into this. And they shelved it and no one ever heard it. And I think it's a brilliant album. So like the fact that we now have autonomy to be able to put out our own music without the permission of those assholes at the label, I think it can be an exceptional time and a great time in the industry. But, to your point, Ben, when you say like, do artists need to be good at the internet? I mean, for certain goals that they want to achieve, if they want to build fans and have a career like that, where it is like more of a traditional music career, where you have fans, you're touring, you have this more of a traditional career, and like fans are listening to your music online. You're not like just a playlist artist or whatever. Then someone on your team needs to be good at the internet. Doesn't need to be the artist directly. No. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys know about the tactics that the major labels are using right now to blow up their artists, but
let's hear them.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, I want to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of artists that have broken out in the last year that are on major labels. And the way that they have broken out is because there are interns at these major labels that are creating hundreds of fan accounts.
Yes, the fan
quote
account.
unquote fan accounts. They're, burner accounts, whatever you want to call them. And then they are flooding TikTok and Instagram with fan videos, with videos of this artist. And it looks like it's coming from a fan account, but really it's coming from the label's account, or it's not the label account. It's really coming from someone at the label who's created this new fan burner account. And so they're flooding TikTok and Instagram because it's a numbers game. And so if you have the resources and the personnel to be able to take more shots on goal, there's a higher likelihood that you're going to make one of those goals. It's like buying a lottery ticket. Artists, if you can only buy one lottery ticket a day, your chances of succeeding are really, really low. And that's like posting a video on TikTok once a day or whatever. You know, even if you buy 5 lottery tickets a day by posting 5 videos on TikTok a day, sure, maybe one will connect, maybe one will, nobody knows. But if you can buy 500 a day, you have a much higher chance of succeeding. And that's what the labels are doing. They are posting 500 videos a day because they have 50 interns that are all posting 10 videos a day of this one of their priority artist, and maybe 2 of those videos catch. And that's all it takes. But then they're doing this every day. And so then you sign on to TikTok or Instagram Reels and like, holy shit, this artist is everywhere. They're constantly going viral. Is that individual artist the one posting all of this? No, you know, and so it's just like, it's not really a level playing ground, even though it might feel that way and seem that way. And some of these artists that, you know, might even be decent at the internet, they're not succeeding on the internet because of their own merits solely alone. Typically, there's a lot of money behind them. There's a lot of resources behind them. And so, you know, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors happening too.
So, I mean, do you think that this is a viable strategy for indie artists that are unsigned? I mean, to like pay someone like cheap labor wherever around the world. Yeah, or make your own. Like, is this a strategy that you're like recommending that people try, or
you know,
because I'm like, damn, it's not like the majors have like, you know, they're not the only ones that could do that. So I'm like, just my light bulb's going off. Like, yo, why the fuck wouldn't we try that?
Yes, if you have, if you want to find, you know, 20 people who are friends, family, or interns, or employees, or whatever you want to call them, and hire them to do this, and that you just kind of post your content and hope that it catches and you get a whole operation together, absolutely. And I think anyone can really do that. And so that is definitely a pathway. And, you know, because it's like, I would say that we're entering this new era of social media. It's no longer social media, it's influence media. And it doesn't matter how many followers you have anymore. It's not about that, because the algorithm is so powerful. We're seeing videos from accounts that have 5 followers go viral, get hundreds of thousands of views. That never happened 10 years ago. And so because of that, that's why this strategy works. That's why you can create a new account today and go viral tomorrow with 5 followers. And so, yes, there is a tactic that could work. Now, will that tactic work in a year from now? Who knows? We have no idea. But the era that we were in the early, you know, 2020s of the initial TikTok era, where the artist had to control it and the artist had to post everything and it had to be from the artist point of view, I feel like that is coming to an end. And what we're seeing is it's this influence media, and it's what, you know, the algorithm is just showing people what they think the user wants to see and what they're engaging with. And so if they engage with like live concert videos and they like that thing, they're just going to send them more live concert video footage. And so if that's the audience that you're looking to hit, maybe you're like an indie rock band or something like that, you pump out, you know, 50 of those videos a day with a different hook at the start of the video or whatever. And like, sure, some of them might catch. I mean, any genre that worked for literally any genre. The biggest album in the world right now is an orchestra album sung in 14 different languages. So it's like whatever genre. That's Rosalia.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the new Rosalia album. So it's like, you know, it's just like any genre can connect if done in the right way.
That's interesting. We've now heard social media be referred to as interest media, discovery media, and influence media.
It's not social really anymore, though. We can all agree on that.
We're going to have to agree on a new name, because apparently social media is not getting the.
And it's the TikTokification is what happened to it, because they started with the For You page and whatnot.
Yeah. So I know you're kind of like the DIY lord, right? But like, if an artist was trying to build out a team, like, Who do you recommend they bring on first? What should those roles be doing? Like, can you, because I think a lot of people think they need a team, and I think there's a lot of value in having a team, but I want to get your take on how should they do that the right way?
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, yes, even though people refer to me, right, as DIY, and I would say that is a misnomer. I don't think anyone does it themselves. There is no such thing as like truly do it yourself DIY. I just think the team looks different. And so like I kind of define DIY as just like you're not working with a label. But a team is tremendously important for every artist at any level. But the team can look very different than what the traditional team looks like. It's like you don't need an artist manager, a record label, a publisher, an attorney, like the traditional roles that you'll find in all of those old textbooks written by lawyers. The team today can be your best friend, your boyfriend, your mom, your younger sister, and your best friend is really good at video, and they're really good at filming stuff, and they're experimenting. They're a short filmmaker, and they're really good at storytelling through video. And your boyfriend is really good at graphic design and photography. And then your little sister is really good at and like lives on TikTok and is really good at doing that. And your mom is really good at making phone calls and emails and networking and meeting people. That sounds like a great team to me, and so it doesn't need to be traditional. It's just who believes in what you're doing, that wants to jump in for whatever needs to get done and whatever can and help you make that happen. And it's really just like being malleable and figuring out whatever your goals are and how to achieve them.
But how would you pay all those people? Like, I mean, or do you suggest that artists try and find people that just want to be a part of what you got going on? Because I mean, all those people seem like they might just do it for free out of the off the strength. But like, how should they be compensating people? Because I think you made a post about, it was some LinkedIn post around the 20% management commission scam and how we should be 50-50 equity partners. And you had some choice words for that whole narrative, right?
Yeah. I did make a post against that narrative of somebody saying that it was some guy, I don't know, on LinkedIn, whatever, people say shit on LinkedIn. But yes, it irked me because they said, this manager said that they want to be 50-50 equity partners with artists. I disagree with that model for many reasons. One reason, they're not creating any of the intellectual property. The artist should own all of that. There should not be equity, but also managers typically have lots of clients, and the artist is one of one. The artist has one career. With managers, their clients come and go. If they have 50% equity ownership in every artist that's just like not fair to the artist, because the manager could drop them or whatever, and now they own a piece of their career in perpetuity. 50%, that's wild. But, and the other thing is the biggest reason of all, I think, that I don't support that model is because the artist is required to invest and put in 100% of the money into the career. That is what like, what turned me off the most of that is that the manager, if the manager was putting in their own money, we're in a completely different conversation.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you, because that's right. But I feel like a lot of the new business, like new music business managers are doing a lot of that. Because I've
seen some 50-50.
Bro, even I was managing a couple artists, and do you know how much money I fucking spent doing that at like a small level? So it's like, I mean, dude, like it's happening right now.
There are, I know it's happening. And of course, there's also different in profit sharing and equity. There's a big difference there. Equity means ownership. Do I think that the manager should own 50% of every song that the artist writes? Absolutely not. If they didn't write the song, you're not entitled to ownership, period. Do I think that they are entitled to equity in the records that they make? No. Could they get a piece of it for a certain amount of time? Absolutely. But if the manager is investing, actually investing their own personal money, then that can be documented. And then there maybe can be a scenario where there's equity, just like an investor invests in a startup company. Investors invest in a startup company and then they get equity. That is a different conversation. This manager or whomever it was that said they wanted 50% equity from the artist project was not investing any money. They were just saying, I would just work my ass off. And it's like, what do you think the artist is doing? The artist is working their ass off too, but also putting in all the money.
Yeah.
So but all that to say, I think getting to the crux of your question is, how do you pay all these people and what payment structure is fair and makes sense? It's all going to be personalized. Now, I think artists that have day jobs and have a revenue stream that's not making from their money, absolutely hire a staff. I think it honestly, it works on both ends of the spectrum. We're seeing this now, like Olivia Rodrigo just fired her, management and is taking it in-house, is hiring a staff. We saw that with Justin Bieber as well. Like these superstars, they are not working in the traditional model of a 20% manager. And they are now just hiring staff members. I think it can go work on every scale, on every level of a career. So if you're an emerging artist and you're not making much money from your music career right now, but you have some disposable income from your day job, absolutely hire a staff. Whatever that staff, maybe it's a manager, maybe they're a traditional manager. Sure, put them on salary, pay them, give them a versus deal, pay them, $1,500 a month and versus 20% of your gross revenue. So whenever that flips to you're making, more than, whenever you're making more than, what is it? Like, thank you. A month.
He's a numbers guy. Yeah.
Right. Then that flips. And then at the $7,500 mark, then now they're on a percentage. So that could work. Maybe it's, 50% of net. Maybe it's like, okay, you look at profits, because that's the other challenge, even with the 20% model, to be honest. It's like, if you have like the band Couch, if you have 7 members, the manager, if they're making 20% of that, now granted, Couch has in-house, their guitarist is their manager.
But still, the manager would be making more money than every single fucking member, dude.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
insane.
So that's why that model is challenging. And that's why some, Wolfpack is self-managed, Couch is self-managed. Like a lot of these bands that, have these members, they're self-managed. So I don't think that the traditional model needs to be the law. I don't think like 20% of gross is this magic number. That's just how it's always been. I think it's what makes sense. So like, sure, maybe it is 50-50 of net profits. And maybe it's just you hire a staff and everyone's on salary, or you're paying somebody a certain amount with bonuses at the end of the year, just like you're running a small business or something like that. So, it's just what do you need completed in your operation? Do you need video shooting and editing? Maybe you want to put someone on retainer for $1,000 a month who's like, young, hungry, 22-year-old kid who's really good at this stuff, and $1,000 a month to them is a lot of money, and they believe in it and they're down for it. Maybe you need a digital person who's an expert at running ads, and they're really good at kind of working the algorithm and all of that, and you pay them $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month to do something like that, to run all of that. I've also seen models where there are people who it's like a mini one-off label kind of deal where they will put all the money into marketing. So they will put up like $20,000 into marketing and they're for one song. And then the deal is that they will split everything that comes out of that 50-50 for that one song after they recoup the 20,000 that they put into marketing.
I think people got to get more creative with their business. I mean, creatives are so creative, but then when they have to get into the business, I feel like they lose some of that creativity sometimes. There's so many different ways to do it, and every situation is personalized, like you said. So let's figure it out.
But I think that's what's the hardest part for I'm even just looking at it from me being a host of a music business podcast. It's like, bro, since everything is so personalized, it is tough for us to even ask these questions and get the answers because it's so nuanced and it is so subjective to what it is that every single individual artist has going on and what they're good at versus what they're not good at, what their financial situation is, if they have a day job, if they come from family money, if they do have homies and girlfriends and moms that are good at shit that could help them and they'll do it for free. It's overwhelming, bro, to be honest.
This is why it comes back to, what are your goals? It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It is overwhelming for everyone who works in the industry. Absolutely, every day you could be spinning yourself into paralysis, which most people do.
Yes.
But if you identify your goals, and this is why I can't hit this point enough, and why I come back to this, because that is how you organize everything and figure out what you want and how to get there. If every 6 months you sit down, you pull out a sheet of paper, you pull out a Google Doc, and you write down, here are 5 goals that I want to achieve in 6 months, and you write those down and you print it off and you put it up on your wall and you look at those goals these are the 5 goals I want to achieve in the next 6 months. You then can reverse engineer every one of those goals and then hire the right people that will help you achieve those goals. And now you're marching on the path of achieving those very, very specific goals. The problem, and getting back to your question, why do people fail and getting to the because of burnout, it's really, when you break that down even further, it's because everyone from all sides of their life, including podcasts and articles they're reading and blogs and those who are more successful in the industry that they feel than them, are telling them what they need to do. And they try to do that one thing because somebody says, oh, you should do this. You should be posting on TikTok 5 times a day. That's how you make it. Or you should pursue sync. That's how you make it. Or you should just go on tour, do a house concert tour. That's how you make it, build it from the ground up. Or you should do X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter. And they try these things and they give them a good month. They give them a good 3 months of trying this thing and it just doesn't deliver the results that they're hoping for. They come back broken and bruised from this tour in a deep hole. They, had some horrific experiences that they never want to repeat on the plate, to a bunch of empty rooms, just awful feeling. Okay, I don't want to do that. That didn't work. Or, they post on TikTok and it's demoralizing and it feels icky and they're just not connecting. They don't know what they're doing. They're trying to follow every trend. They're spinning in all directions. It's soul crushing. And they're like, why the fuck am I doing music? If this is what it means to be an artist, I don't want to be an artist. And then they quit. They give up all of those things. They stop each one of those things because they hadn't devoted a goal to what they wanted to achieve. Now, if their goal was, I want to, let's go on the live route. I want to be able to sell 100 tickets in 8 markets within 3 years. You can work your ass off to achieve that goal. And there is a direct pathway to do that. And so it's not one tour. You're not going to be selling 100 tickets in every market. But sure, maybe you could start with, and you're so narrowly focused on that goal. Or maybe my goal is, I want 2 songs to reach 1 million streams in 6 months. Okay, that's a solid goal. And you know what? Maybe TikTok and Instagram, I'm going to focus on that because I think that's the moment right now. And so I'm going to think very specifically, I'm going to use these tools, they are tools, to try to achieve that goal. And then if you're narrowly focused, it's like you're not so consumed by the day-to-day or the wins and failures of the moment. You're just focused on that goal. And then you can move forward and reach that goal. And that's just like how you can make things less overwhelming and more focused.
Well, as soon as this episode's over, Henry, we are going to write our top 5 goals for the next 6 months
on a piece of paper, physically, and post it.
Yes, and cross them off as we reach them here in the studio.
I love it.
Henry, we've entered the final segment of the podcast. Damn, we already need a part 2, bro.
I know.
I have
we're just heating up.
We didn't even scratch the surface of what I prepared. It's insane.
We could talk to you all day, man. But for now, it is time for the final segment. This is called the Rapid Fire Rampage. It's going to be 3 sections.
Uh-oh.
The first section is just some basic short answer questions. Starting with, what is one belief about making it that you need every artist to just delete from their brains right now?
That making it can be defined by anyone else but you.
So good.
What is the last business call you made and what was it about? If you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, let me think about that. Business call.
Let's say any call.
Yeah, it was. I'm working on an immersive theatrical concert experience with my funk project, Grassroots District, and I'm calling musicians right now to be part of that. And so the last call I made was to the sax player to see if he wanted to be part of it.
See,
nice.
That's why I love that question.
That's
Either
cool.
You find out something. You might
That's
not.
cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
You've just been appointed supreme leader of the music industry with unlimited power to do whatever you want. What is your first order of business?
Dismantle every major label.
I just saw Snow the Product on the manager's playbook, and she was like, I'm not anti-label, I'm not this. I'm like, Ari's anti-label, bro.
Yeah, pretty openly.
Anti-major label,
Majors.
clearly.
Yeah.
Major.
What is one change that every artist could make to level up their live show a bit? Or at least a lot of them could. Something you see.
Oh, that's a great question. I would say at the start of your career, you just need to perform a lot more. It's that 10,000 hours concept. If you haven't practiced 10,000, hours on stage, you're not going to be a great performer. So just get on more stages and just do it more. Now, if you're more established and you already put in the time, honestly, like filming yourself and watching it back can be really informative and really helpful to see what everyone else is seeing and get outside your body a little bit to just kind of see what you look like. Even though it might feel good to you, you might need, you might not realize how you're coming across, and you need some of that more objective feedback.
Watch the tape.
It's so obvious when he says it, but it's like so many people probably aren't doing that. Yeah.
For sure.
I have one that I just like want to make sure that I mention.
Okay.
It's like, just say your name.
Oh, yeah.
Like throughout, I just know it blows my mind the amount of shows I go to where like, especially if there's multiple artists on a bill, and like typically I'm more referring to the openers on the bill, right? Who the people probably did not come to see, but yet you have this opportunity to capture those fans. Like, say your name like multiple times
in between every song.
Yeah.
I will go one further with you.
Okay.
Then I will say capture the contact information of everybody in the room somehow.
Wow.
Either have a moment during your set, say, all right, everyone, pull out your phones. I want you to text this number, this word to this number, and the song that I just played, did you like that? Yeah? All right. It's not released, but I'll if you text this number, you're going to get that song right now. You'll be able to listen to it on the drive home.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Get everybody's phone number in there. Or, there's other organizations like Set.Live or something like that where you can similarly have a moment in there where have everybody enter a raffle for a free merch pack at the end or something like that, or to, choose your encore song or whatever. But I think everyone needs to think about, how am I going to get contact information from everyone in this room tonight? And make a moment during your set that you're going to do that. Whether it's, hey, there's QR codes everywhere around the room. Don't do it now. I don't want you to pull your phones out. But if you scan this, you're going to get X, Y, and Z on your way out. And that's a way to do it too. Just somehow make a moment during your set that you're going to figure out how to get everyone's contact information.
And
that's a clip.
And I'll go one further as well. We're just going to keep this going.
It's supposed to be a short answer, guys.
I know. But often, if it's a ticketed event, you can ask the promoter and the venue to like send you a CSV of like the ticket purchasers too. So like,
is that kosher?
No, you can't.
Ticket?
No one will do that.
That doesn't sound kosher.
Live Nation. No.
I've gotten it from a Live Nation show. As the promoter, yeah.
That's different. The artist doesn't get that.
Well, couldn't I give it to the artist?
Doesn't get that.
Couldn't I give it to the artist if they asked, or is that, or am I doing hella illegal things?
I wish.
Okay,
believe me, this is the biggest pain point.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong here.
No. But
I got it.
There's virtually no artist. I mean, there's a difference if you are the promoter and you are the one that are selling tickets. But no, that is the biggest pain point for every artist touring every venue at any level.
They don't know who bought their tickets.
What's that?
They don't know who bought their tickets. It's insane.
They don't know who bought their tickets. They can't get the information. They cannot get their fan data.
Damn.
They can't get the email addresses or the phone numbers. They don't even know who's in the room right now. Believe me, I have asked every venue at every level and talked to my friends and colleagues at every level, playing everywhere from clubs to theaters to arenas. They don't get this information. If you're Taylor Swift, you get this information. If you're like, hey, Live Nation, I'm not going to play your tour unless I can get the fan data. They'll figure out a way, but it's a privacy situation. It's they'll claim it's illegal this, illegal that, and whatever. But yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, if you are the promoter, like sure, I've thrown so many DIY shows where we use Eventbrite, and yeah, I get everyone's contact information because I'm the promoter. They bought tickets on my own website, on my own Eventbrite, sure. But Ticketmaster does not give that information to the artists that are playing that room.
Okay, I totally didn't send it to any artists. Yeah. No one got any contact info.
You have to edit that out.
Let's keep it going, Henry.
You should do it.
Hey, fuck it. I'm sending it. Fuck it. I'm going.
Yeah, you should.
Artists deserve it, man.
Yeah.
Only a couple more of a short answer. What is the most underrated revenue stream for independent artists right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say direct to fan, whether that is through merch or a fan club or digital, like a Bandcamp or an Even, something where the fan pays you directly. That's not filtered through all of these different entities like a DSP or a distributor or anything like that. But selling directly to the fan and having the fan pay you money directly, that, as obvious as it seems and sounds, is underutilized.
Needed to be said. I think so. Last one of the short answer. What is your favorite curse word?
Curse word?
That's correct. You thought it was going to be a deep business question. Nope.
My favorite curse word is Lucian Grange. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh shit! Now that counts. That counts.
We'll accept.
We'll accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Next section is the this or that. I'm going to give you two choices. You just got to pick one. Starting with
That was great.
hooks or verses.
Hooks.
2,500 person email list or 100,000 Instagram followers.
Email list.
TikTok viral or Spotify editorial playlist.
He looks pissed.
Editorial, I guess. I don't like the premise, but
Neither.
He's not interested in your games, Henry.
Fat advance or retain your masters.
Retain your masters.
Ice bath or sauna.
Sauna.
Only play house concerts or only play weddings. This is you as the musician.
House concerts.
House
I
concerts.
fucking love house concerts.
I think weddings pay good though, right? I don't know. But yeah, house concerts.
House
are a vibe.
concerts can pay really well too.
Okay.
If you set it up right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've made a lot of money on house concerts. I like house concerts.
Unwavering consistency or elite quality?
Ooh, that's elite quality.
And finally, become a full-time rapper or leave the music industry forever.
If those are my choices, I guess I'm out of the industry.
Shit. You didn't even.
You could play
don't wanna
guitar
hear me
on your
rap.
own beats and like you could.
You don't want to hear me rap. And no one wants to hear me rap. I know my lane.
I really want to hear you
I
rap.
kind of do
actually,
even
like-
more now that you said that. Anyway, the last section
But
is
I love rap. I respect rappers. I respect them so much
That you won't-
that I'm not going to step on.
He respects the craft
I'm not
that
gonna
much,
pretend that I
guys.
can do what they can do. That is not something that I do well and that I should be doing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The last section is the word association. I'm going to say a word. I just need you to give me the first word that you think of off the top of your head.
So dangerous.
There are no correct answers. You are only judged on speed. Starting with music,
Business.
algorithm,
Shit.
50-50 equity split,
Frustration.
banana,
Apple.
auto-tune,
Tool.
Les Paul,
Gibson.
exposure,
Free.
podcast,
Interesting.
4th edition,
Coming soon.
Yes.
AI,
Complicated.
crowd surf,
Fun.
blockchain,
Dead.
making it.
In the new music
Let's
business.
go.
Let's go. This has been
an
Ari
episode.
Herstand. Holy shit, Henry. We
Went
did
by
it.
too fast, man.
We did it. We're going to already have to have a part 2.
Yes.
Drop a comment if you got value out of this interview. This was
Come on, man.
incredible.
Yes, the OG, man. Thanks again for coming on.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Until next time,
thanks so
Henry,
much,
what we're doing?
guys.
Getting out of here.
Getting the fuck out of here. Peace, y'all.
Hey, bye.